Good. How you doing?
Good. You in town? You been busy?
A little bit. I just come from the Boys and Girls Club
Okay, the Boys and Girls Club. Which location?
in Dublin. I got to go back out there though.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Well, there's a few questions that I want to ask you. Might not get to all of them because we definitely want to get have the students the opportunity to ask you some questions as well. But the first question I have is, what would you say to these middle school students, especially the ones that play sports, how important their attitude, their grades, and setting goals are at this point in their lives being in middle school?
Middle school, I think it was one of the most important things I had to do. The first thing for me, my number one thing was to always be respectful, and it don't matter who. Is it either a teacher, your parents? I just always know I was respected to the people that was older than me. So, and I built off that, and then, I started playing football when I got into high school, so I just kept being respectful, and it helped a lot.
That's awesome.
And then the second thing, if I had to say, was like the work. Because if you want to go D1, if you're the guys or girls, if you play sports, you go D1, you got to get the book work, and you got to, pass all your classes. You ain't got to be certain what age, but, you got to do good and have a great GPA once you're coming out.
Awesome. So is education important to you? You think that should be a priority?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay, so at what point in time in your life did you know that football is what you wanted to do as a career?
I have to say my senior year in high school, because I didn't like football. I liked basketball a lot, and I started playing my 10th grade year. I got better as a junior, and then I started getting scholarships and sat down to talk with my high school coach, my football high school coach, and he told me, we talked about it, and I was like one of the biggest guys that played receiver in high school, so I knew nobody couldn't, it was hard for people to check me, so I got better, got a full scholarship to Georgia Tech, and I just got up there, and I got better and better every year, so once I got a full scholarship, it was something I wanted to do.
Oh, that's great. So what was your transition like when you left Tech and you got into the NFL? So how was that transition for you?
That was a hard transition. I got drafted in the first round, and I went to another state that I'd never been to. It was Denver, Colorado. I'm staying on my own now, and paying bills. Never did it in my life. When I was at Georgia Tech, I had a full scholarship. Everything was free. You get a full scholarship, everything free, school, books, you're staying, and I ain't have to pay for nothing. And once I got to the NFL, it was all about business. It was like I said, paying my own bills, going grocery shopping for myself, buying clothes. I hate shopping, but it was some of the things I had to do, and that's probably the biggest transition I have to say. I got at first. I missed home for a little while, but after a while, you'll get tired of going back home.
Okay, awesome. So I want to do something that's more personal to the kids. So if you think back when you were in middle school, and I know that's not that far because you're not that old. So when you were in middle school, what was it like for you? What were some of your challenges, and what were some of the things you remember about middle school?
When I was in middle school, I used to go see a counselor every week because I was one of the class clowns.
Oh, okay.
So I had to go see a counselor every week, and he actually helped me because, by 8th grade I had stopped seeing him. I say that, but because 6th grade I was seeing him, 7th grade I saw him some because I got better and better. And, I was the guy that always wanted everybody to laugh in classroom. And I feel like that was one of my challenges, just to try to start doing my work and quit trying to getting in trouble and stop going to see the counselor. And my mom had went to prison when I was in 6th grade, so I was without my grandma and my mother. I was moving around, and that was another challenge.
Okay, so that was sort of like against the odds because you wasn't like in a traditional home, but you were still sort of staying focused.
Yes, ma'am.
Sort of redirect on what you needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's awesome. So, what is the best thing about being in the NFL? And during football season, what is a typical day like for you?
Well, we play most of the days on Sundays, and we get Monday off. Well, we go in on Monday, watch film, we ain't got practice. Then we got Tuesday off.
Okay.
do what we want Monday and Tuesday. Then we go back Wednesday, we practice. You know, I have to wake up 6 o'clock in the morning. I have meetings at 7. Then I have more meetings from like 8 to 10. Then I have practice from 11 to 2. Then we got more film from like 2:30 to 3:30. Then we working out. So my day is like from 6 to 5 basically. And then just seeing the same people over every day and you know, it's the same thing every day. Wake up at 6 o'clock every morning.
So you really have to be disciplined for your schedule.
And, you know,
you have to be places at a certain time. You can't be late and be responsible.
I'll tell you this. I was late one time and I got fined $25,000.
Ooh, Jesus. $25,000 for being late.
You know, we got rules. You know, we got certain all players got certain weights they got to be. You know, if you go over a pound, it's $500 a pound. It's like little things like that. It ain't easy as people think it is, but you know, you got to be on time. You can't miss nothing.
Awesome. Okay, so I have just a couple more questions we're going to let the kids. Now, I watched you on TV when you ran that 80-yard touchdown against Pittsburgh. I was going crazy. I'm telling you, I don't watch football unless you're playing on TV.
Okay.
So my family's watching football, and I said, is baby playing? And I'm like, no, he's not playing, so I go in the other room and watch Lifetime. But if you playing, I'm watching it.
Okay.
But when you ran that touchdown in that game, what was going on through your mind when the ball was being thrown to you and you're getting ready to catch it and run in the end zone? So what kind of things like go in your mind?
You know, once I beat the DB and I saw the ball, I knew if I catch it and I make one person miss, I was gonna score. And basically that's what happened. I had one person I had to miss, and I didn't know I had won the game though. That's the crazy thing. I looked back after I ran in the tunnel and I saw everybody on the field, so I knew the game was over with then.
Wow, that's good. So this is my last question. So I know I talked with you at the basketball game Tuesday, and you do so much and you give your time, but with everything that's going on with the NFL, you know, the fans being on TV, making money, how do you stay grounded and focused on what you're supposed to be doing and not like, you know, just start going crazy and doing all kinds of things that you shouldn't be doing?
You know, I was up there staying by myself, so I didn't do much because I didn't know nobody. You know, it's my second year in the league. But I remember when I was a little kid, I always told my mother that I'd go pro in something, and I just stuck to it. And I told myself if I get in, I'm gonna stay in as long as I can, so I can, if I ever want to have a family, support my kids and support my family. So I just remember those things and just work hard at my goal and try to be better at what I do every time I go on the field.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's give it up for baby. Questions? So raise your hand if you have questions for baby. I know y'all got some burning questions. Chanel? Stand up. All right. Go ahead, ask your question. Go ahead. Direct it to baby. Go ahead. What's your question? You play football, so what's your question?
Well, I feel like basketball. I mean football.
How I feel? You know, it feel good because it's something I love to do, so it feel good, but at the same time.
Okay, anybody else? Another question? Okay. Tell them your name and what grade you in.
My name is Aaliyah. I'm in 6th grade. I like Ashley. How did you get the name Baby?
My auntie gave it to me when I was a little kid. She told me she got it from a cartoon show called Baby Kids.
Okay.
My name is Alexandria Apollo, and I do not know anything about football, but I got a brother and a cousin that love me.
Okay.
Hey, man. Quit talking to me. Come on. Who, Steelers? Who, Steelers?
Yep.
We didn't really beat them that bad.
My name is Sean. How long do you plan on playing football?
Hopefully 10 years.
Another question? Any of the staff? Okay. Tell me your name.
My name is Damian. How does it feel that your team and not go to a Super Bowl?
That don't feel good, no. I wish we would have went.
What were your favorite what were your favorite when you scored that touchdown against the Steelers? What was going through your mind as soon as you got in the end zone?
I didn't really know the game was over with. I thought the other team get to go on the field. So once I found out, I was happy because I had won the game in overtime, the first play of overtime, and I had, I broke a couple records, so I was happy.
Any other questions?
Man, quick, talk to me. No, you like your brother and get up and ask a question.
Well, this is a question. Are your summers very, very busy?
My summers?
Mm-hmm. The summertime?
Like right now, I can do what I want to and I can do what I want till April, and then after that, I have to start back training, and I have to go back to Denver and start training again. So for like 3 months, I can do whatever, and then after that, I'm back busy again.
So have you ever thought about doing like a mini camp for kids, like a football mini camp?
Yeah, I thought about it.
So you think you might come back and do that for us sometime?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.